true leader will take accountability, responsibility for their decisions, for themselves, for their team, for their family. And a true leader knows how to lead and when to follow. Sometimes it's time you need to follow because you don't know everything. A true leader knows that they don't know everything. All right? So when we're talking about a woman getting with a man, and just because it's a man that you're supposed to follow their lead, I don't get that. Now, I do get you shouldn't be with a man that you can't follow their lead when necessary. The thing is, what does the man know how to do? You can follow their lead if you need to. But the ideal of thinking, okay, well, I need a leader. I need a man because the man's going to lead me. Like, bitch, where are you going? What are you doing? I don't know. Wherever the man wants to go. Like, you have to have that connection. And I'm not going to hold you. I believe that this is how religion affects us. You have to have your individual connection with source, with God. And because everybody think, oh, well, it's God, man, woman, child. What are you talking about? Why are we talking in hierarchy? We're supposed to be talking in balance. So, hey, I'm not going to hold you. Other than religion, patriarchy came from that. I don't know which one came first, whatever. And I know, because of wars and I understand why we have evolved the way we have in certain areas of the world. I get it. But the thing is, now we're coming into an awareness where, okay, what are we doing now to evolve better? We cannot evolve better with certain ideologies that we had from the past. Like, you're still looking at this book from how long ago? That was for that time. Those ideologies, that culture was created in that time. Right now, we're creating something different. Okay? So the ideology breeds. Like, this is why I tell you it's very important to look at all your belief system and really see how that affects your life, because that ideology breeds you to feel like a woman is beneath you, feel like a woman's more like a child, feel like, okay, she's emotional, she don't know what she's doing, she's not logical, when that is just simply not true. Now let's be logical and look at our mothers, for one, our grandmothers, and understand the society around which puts you as a man in the position where you were in. Okay? Now moving forward, remember saying, see, a woman don't lead the same way a man will lead. In or out? Which one? A woman don't lead the same way a man will lead. Okay? So as patriarchy breeds hierarchy, right? A matriarchal mindset would breed balance, would breed what would that be called? It's not hierarchy, it's balance, baby. It's balance, baby. So just thinking about these things and coming up with our own ideology right now that's going to help us and help our future where we're going, because shit's changing, I'm telling you. So consciousness is going to do what it do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really above just me and you, and it's really above probably what we would create on our own. We have to come together to create something so big that really affects. But I think that the universe already has that aligned where this time right now and this time on earth, we're waking up. There's certain, I like the explanation that there's certain codes being sent or whatever, but right now we're really like thinking different, and we're letting go of stuff that, I was like, okay, we had that, but it really don't make sense right now, and that's okay. Then it made sense. Like, I can get why religion went from worshiping multiple gods or physical things to the Jesus situation, where you're like, okay, God is you're my father, and all this type of understanding and way of, it's really a way of a perspective of the truth, So I get why we came to that. That brought us closer to God. But right now, moving forward, I believe from what I'm getting is that God is within. And we are all supposed to have our own individual connection with that source. Beyond religion, beyond culture, beyond what you're being taught and everything. Even beyond your genetics. But I don't feel like we're even in a space right now However, with science, we are talking about like the epigenetics. And so it's kind of even beyond genetics, because it's like you can cultivate your genetics. You can, not all the way switch it, but you can figure out, you can feed your body in a way that turns on certain genes and turns off certain genes that you may not want to express. Okay. So knowing that, I know that we're going to move forward. We're always evolving and growing. And I also know at the same time, simultaneously, history repeats itself. So, hey, from my perspective, what I'm getting is that this is a time, it's like a new era in consciousness. It's like a revolution. I don't know how it's going to look in totality, but you see it. I mean, they're calling it a spiritual understanding, spiritual community. And I can see where in the spiritual community, everybody has their own. Like I've met people that they done went into some crazy things when it comes to spiritual stuff, like some dark shit and some other shit, and they're all in this other type of thing. But when it comes to the light, the heart being light, when it comes to like a true divine connection with source, that means like when you say like, okay, God's within you, connect to it. Sometimes you have to level up in consciousness, and sometimes it's about somebody explaining it to you in a way where it clicks, right? But you level up in consciousness in a way where that's not going to mean if you're an abuser, if you're a fucking low vibration, that you need to express that because your mind told you that, you need to go smack somebody, or you need to go do somebody, or you need to go do some weird shit. The way we have to explain, if there is going to be a doctrine or type of book that would help people come into this level of understanding and living life, then we would have to understand that you have to raise your vibration. When I say honor thyself, that don't mean that toxic version of yourself. But most people will hear that, just like most people hear I am God, and they'll take it as egotistical, they'll take it in their traumas and all that shit. You got to separate that bullshit. You got to separate that God within versus and we don't even want to live in separation. That's why you got to separate it in order to bring it back together and understand they are working together simultaneously. And hey, maybe somebody else can explain it better. But when I hear people talking and they're explaining things, I only get certain stuff out of it. And that's also a key to life. So it's not like that you, me, or anybody is going to fully be able to just write one. Even the Bible has changed. Even different religions has came off of the Bible, something before the Bible, all these different things. So it's just about, if you have a philosophy that you live by, that you feel like has helped you, you need to shine your light and spread that message. Okay? Especially when it comes to the spiritual community, when the people that really done that inner work and that heart, that light, that heart work, and took that time to meditate and really connect to source, hold themselves accountable, being very aware and conscious of themselves and working on themselves. And it takes time, and sometimes it takes generations. So it's important to teach that to our future generations and shine that light, because other people need to see it. You don't know how much your children are changing and growing and taking in the things that you're expressing in these moments. Okay, so yeah, it might take a couple generations to be able to get to that level, but understand in this understanding, we have to make sure our actions are aligned with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So, and then that just makes me, now I'm just saying all my thoughts because I'm not really going deep into one thought. I'm just spreading it out, because it's then that makes me go into, and this is how you actually get a solid philosophy, is by just questioning everything, going into all these different, viewpoints, ways to look at it, right? Because this is just a way to look at it. The Bible, all of it is just a way to look at life. Does it help you? Does it feed your soul or no? Okay? And that's really what you should be asking. Does this really feed my soul? What is this feeding me? As I'm reading this, as I'm watching this, as I'm engaging this, as I'm internalizing this, what is this doing for me? And how I'm vibrating? And how I'm able to create change on earth. Okay? So, basically, I was going to go into that kind of makes me think like, okay, going all the way down to the belief system, back down where I'm thinking that I believe, right? And this may be flawed, that everyone is pure at their core, okay? Everyone is pure at their core, which means that our environment and what we've been taught through our senses and our certain programmings are flawed, and that's why you have a result of a certain cause. A cause to we talked about cause and effect. That's why you have an effect to certain causes. Okay? So if you've been treated a certain way as you grew up, let's not even talk about generational things or the genes, but you grew up in a certain environment, you've been treated a certain way, that affects you in a certain way. Okay? And then you start expressing yourself through that. So So at that point, if our culture teaches when you feel something like a healthy release, when people go through certain things that causes trauma, how can our community come together in a way that like releases that trauma from that person so it doesn't get internalized in their heart? These are the questions that we should be asking and the solutions that we need. Because I do believe that certain things are cultivated, but that's a belief and it could be flawed. People could be born, some people believe this and some religions say this, that people are born devilish, okay? People are born on that bullshit. Hey, is that through cause? Is that through genes, through epigenetics, through what the parents and all that stuff went through? Or is this a soul or something that comes into human life and we just raised through this environment? Could somebody's soul just be bad, or is it cultivated over time? That's a question. That's an important question. Some people, who cares, whatever. It's an important question because that question is a part of the foundation in your belief system that ultimately contributes to how you experience reality. So, for instance, why I'm even questioning a certain core belief that I have, that at your core you are pure, is because I took so much time pouring into certain people, wanting to see them progress. And hey, I know it's not my time. I don't get to say when somebody, that's between them and God and them and the universe and all that. However, sometimes me believing that somebody, just because they did this, did that, a serial killer, whatever, that there is something that they can overcome to be a better human and be who they truly are, what I think, because I think they're pure, but they're doing heinous acts. That just puts me in a vulnerable situation. I wouldn't want to teach it to other people, puts other people in a vulnerable situation because I don't know, So our belief system is important. A lot of times you believe things that you don't know, but after you dive into it, and this is just a part of the inner work. So as you walk life, after you get enlightened with the spiritual type journey, like I did, then you walk life and you're very conscious of yourself. So everything you do, what you think, you're just analyzing it. You're looking at it. And I have a lot of Virgo energy in my chart. So I'm like, that's up my alley. It could be good. It could be bad. But you analyze yourself. You really get to know yourself. You really be honest with yourself. Like, is that right? Is that true? Is that good for me? Does that make me feel good? Does that make my heart feel good? Is that feeding my soul? Is that taking away from my soul? What is that? Where did that come from? What is that? Childhood? Could it come generational? Could it be because of my environment? Where did that come from? Let me analyze that, and then you're supposed to get a healthier connection, healthier perspective, with those things. So in my self-work, I notice, okay, you give I'm graceful, but sometimes I give so much grace because I believe that somebody can change. I believe that you truly want to be the best, but those traumas, let's talk about them. Let me understand your mindset. Let me give you some things that can help you question your mindset. Sometimes that trauma be so deep. Or could their soul be fucked up? Could that trauma mess with your soul and impact you permanently? That means that you would need to do a lot of, and this is what I realized, you would need to do that soul searching. If somebody, and this does not negate the fact that not negate the belief that at your core you are pure. It's just saying that if you truly want to change, some people need a lifetime of work. It's still a belief system, I don't know. But if you truly want to change and you desire to do that, you would. And I had to realize that. So instead of me thinking like, okay, you're just hurt, you're doing things out of pain, let's work on it. If that person does not put that active time into, and I have to know because I've put time, and I continuously do, and maybe too much, but I put a lot of time into it. Maybe because I can give a message after this experience, after the time and the effort and the everything I put into it, and to really being the best I can be. And you know what? Looking at myself right now, I know I can be better in the material realm. But when we're talking about like the hard work and my connection to God and things like that, I feel good. I feel great. And I'm always hard on myself, so I'm not going to hold you. I feel like I can do better. I can always do better. But I know that I'm in line. I know that my heart is light. So, you might hear the kids in the background. Well, not the kids. I don't like them. They're not kids. They're young adults. Okay? And they are their own people. So,